Neil Erickson. Neil Erickson is in prison. Okay, this is about the letters of support, and that's what we need to stay on. And please allow people that have a difference of opinion the courtesy to speak without attacking them, because I have tried for you not to be attacked. It's simple courtesy. And before you keep going up to the microphone 4 and 5 times, please give other people that have not had a chance to speak a chance to speak.
My name is Barb Bird-Bear. I'm from Lupton. Lived in Rose City most of my life. Amputate. It's going to continue to impact. It will keep these teachers, keep this board member. I understand rights. It's going to stay with us. I also understand a little bit about money and not having money. Okay, but there's other things we can cut. Our priority is safety and education. Okay, they don't need us to go to Charleroi. I mean, that's just one instance of football team going up there. There's ways that we could cut money. There have been spending mistakes that have been made. Okay, it's part of life. But I'm saying, get the toxins out. Okay, like I said last time, I love Rose City. I've been a wolf. My daughter's a wolf. My son was a wolf. He's going to Charlton Heston. Okay, and it's not a St. Helens school coming here. It would be a Rose City governed school. Just FYI.
It's not back there no more.
The reason that I stayed that, Mr. Swain, thank you, after I told you about the court and no teachers supporting the Jays. You showed up in court. Thank you. That was huge. Thank you for listening to me several times in your office in my enforcements. Thank you, Jays, for having courage to bring this up and keep fighting. This is something that most people may not have wanted to be in the spotlight, and it's become much bigger than that. They say it's ripped apart our community. I beg to differ. Look behind me. It might be just one of the things, unfortunately, that does unify us. Some numbers to look at. Kim, fellow mom of our softball team, our boys baseball. The numbers are, I was wrong on the numbers, it was 35 on the bus. There's 22 on the bus going to Charlton Heston. We had to have a bus, it's full. Okay, they're already enrolled from our area. There's 25 on the waiting list that are already enrolled from our area. Okay. It's for several reasons. Part of it being this, part of it being the fact that Rose City takes a hind seat and has taken a hind seat to West Branch to become this forgotten area. For years and years and years. We're small, we're poor, we don't have a lot of professional parents that can provide a lot of time. Okay. Rose City used to be separate and self-sustaining. Okay. We're not that. I hear we're starting to get some programs, but Sirline has had programs that we don't have for years, like hard. Okay. That's why I am pushing still for a charter school at this point. There is a huge bullying problem going on in Rose City Elementary and junior high. It's not students. It's admin and staff bullying staff. I'm glad to talk to you about it. I talked to Mr. Coyne about it. I don't want my son there. Bottom line. He asked me where I'm going tonight. How do you tell a 7-year-old boy? I tell him the truth. I tell him if there was a man, there was a teacher that touched those places, I tell you nobody can touch. And he's in prison. Okay? I want him to know that there will be support for him. Okay, bottom line, I just want to say, clean it up. I said last time, it's toxic. Okay, I'm a mom, I'm an educator, I'm a community member, I'm a voter. If it's cleaned up, I'm coming back. I don't want to leave. I really, really didn't, and I have tried and contributed for years. But at this point, it's not a matter of if you stay, we'll clean it up. It's a matter of if you clean it up, we'll support you.
decided to do. I'm disgusted that I have to come here and do this. I'm disgusted that our community has to go through this. All of my children have been to school here. Look like my grandchildren are going to come to school here, and I want this resolved before they do. I have a son in another school district that wanted to come here this year, to high school and play football here, and he's not coming now. It breaks my heart as mom that he won't come here because of the issues that we have in the school. About the letter writers, Mrs. Rao personally, several years ago, with nothing but hearsay from someone else, called CPS and tried to get the book thrown at a parent for no reason. There was nothing, no source, nothing to back it up except for something she heard. She tried to get CPS to throw the book at those parents, but she was unwilling to have the judge throw the book at this man that seduced and molested a child that she represents. Probably she had him singing with her, probably on this stage. She doesn't belong with the rest of the teachers, nor do the other teachers, in my opinion, because a lot of us as moms, parents, grandparents, we teach our kids if something like this happens, even if it's not us, your parent, find an adult that you trust and tell them. What if one of these letter writers is the people that our children go to and tell? We can't trust those teachers to have our children's best interest. We can't. They don't belong to, they don't deserve to have our children. My opinion.
Hi, my name is Austin Pawlowski. I was born and raised here in Omaha County. I went to St. Joseph School, kindergarten through 5th grade, Sierra Middle School 6th through 8th, and Omaha Heights all 4 years in high school. I want to take the time to speak here after observing how the events following the prosecution of Ms. Erickson have been playing out. First and foremost, my heart really goes out to the Janczeski family. It's nothing short of a tragedy that their son was molested by someone who was thought to be a trusted teacher, and I know the recovery process isn't going to be easy. In regards to seeking justice against Mr. Erickson following the molestation of your son, as far as I'm concerned, and as a member of the community, I feel that justice has been served so far. That brings me why I came here to speak in the first place. I feel like Mr. Egan, as well as the quote-unquote letter-writing teachers, as they're being referred to as, are being nothing short of being victimized. The group on the Facebook page seems to have a mob-like mentality, and I feel that it's becoming what's to be a witch hunt, and it's a plague on our community as a whole. I do not believe in any way that this has been being handled in a civil or proper manner. I do not believe that the Support Janczeski page should be filled with slanderous pictures and comments of the teachers, as well as Mr. Egan. The group doing things such as posting pictures of an etching sketch and saying that maybe Mr. Egan needs these so he can quickly erase the supposed doodles that he draws at the meetings. There's different things going on there, such as union bashing, as well as people claiming to have documents they're going to bring down several people and make them feel ashamed. These are just a few examples of what I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about Mr. Egan. Mr. Egan went to the hearing of Mr. Neil Erickson and sat with Mrs. Erickson and her family. As a member of the school board, I can understand how this can be seen as a conflict of interest. I can understand how this can be interpreted as something negative. However, how can our community try and label him as somebody who supports child molestation? He's never made such a claim, and to place that very serious judgment on somebody as a result of him sitting with Neil's family is nothing short of wild accusations. Has nobody stopped to think that maybe this was a man supporting a fellow teacher, Mrs. Erickson, who was going through a time of emotional distress and hardship? Mr. Egan never even wrote a letter of leniency. If anything, Mr. Egan is the least wrong here amongst the teachers and everyone being accused. Will our community look at only one thing that they have interpreted as being bad and be so blinded by one incident so as to ignore all of the good? Mr. Egan taught as well as advised future farmers of America for 34 years. Are these 34 years of excellence diminished and negated so easily? On a more personal level, I got to spend 4 years of my high school with Mr. Egan being there in both of these positions. He harbored strong teaching methods as well as connections with his students. Why would our community not want a person with experience like that on our school board to help better the education in our area? Next, I want to talk about the teachers. Once again, I'm not in support of the teachers' actions. I don't believe that writing these letters was the right thing to do. Yet once again, these teachers were in support of the family. They were never in any way or shape or form in support of child molestation. We want to punish these teachers for exercising their right of freedom. And whether or not you agree with their choice, the ability to do this was within their rights. Nobody was harmed as a result of this except for people's feelings. And although that's definitely not something to be taken lightly, it is not a punishable offense. By these actions alone, our community has come to distrust these teachers. Teachers who have been working by children's sides for countless years. Teachers who strive for the betterment of children as well as the next generation of our country. Does the community truly feel as though their children are in danger to put these children in these classrooms? I only had 2 of these teachers personally, Carol Rao as well as Mrs. Egan and Hubert. And I can say from a personal standpoint and experience that I thought both of them were great instructors and far from being dangerous to children. Although I could go on to thank numerous teachers individually, it was the school system as a whole that I thank for the culmination of the experiences that helped me mature and grow into the person that I am today. Amongst those teachers are the teachers who wrote letters. Although, as I stated before, that I feel for the Janseski family and their struggle, I now also feel for Mr. Egan and the teachers. The public opinion that has been seen is the one of the group that I described earlier. To feel that the community is entirely against you can be far from a great feeling, yet that's not the entire truth. There are numerous people who support both the teachers and Mr. Egan, whom are simply afraid to come to these meetings and speak up on their behalf as a result of seeing the actions of the group and seeing how they're treated by the support group. People are afraid to lose business at their local businesses, thinking that they might get boycotted by coming here and showing their face in support of the teachers and Mr. Egan. An example of this is Ogama County, as he stated earlier, has set up a poll on what the general public thought that the school board should do. The results are in favor of keeping the teachers and making no changes with 36%. Another 27% says to keep the teachers but have them take classes on ethics. Another 2% says to keep the teachers but allow students to be in different courses. And finally, another 2% says to keep the teachers but discipline them. Altogether, that's 67% votes that say to keep the teachers regardless of the options on the side, or 8,697 of the votes. The general consensus here, regardless of other options, is to keep the teachers. So I hope the school board as well as the community takes this greatly into consideration before making a decision. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak.
My name is Jim Lynett from West Branch. For those of you who are real long memories, I was a high school principal here way back in the early 70s. I've had 5 children graduate from this school, 1 granddaughter and another grandson coming up very soon. And I have one overriding concern, and I haven't heard anybody address it yet tonight, but my overriding concern is the overall health and longevity of West Branch Grove City Schools. I'm not minimizing anything that happened to the victim. I think it's one of the worst things in the world that could happen to a young kid. I'm not condoning the action of the teachers. I'm not up here to talk about rights and responsibilities and common sense. I don't think much common sense was used in writing those letters, but you can't legislate common sense. It just doesn't happen. Now, if we're not real careful and everybody step back and take several real deep breaths, that slogan on the back of your t-shirts is going to be pretty meaningless because there isn't going to be anything to stand behind because this district will not be here. You are going to end up just like Buena Vista. They're gone. Different reasons, same results. They're gone. Inkster Cherry Hills, they're gone. They're still a political entity paying taxes on a school that no longer functions. So people, please, yes, let's get together and let's stand behind West Branch Grove City Schools before it's gone.
I am currently a junior at Oakland Heights High School. and have the maturity of an adult. I'm sorry, but I do. I went to Rose City Elementary School and middle school. I had Mr. Erickson as a teacher, a science teacher, and a computer teacher. I had Miss Coe for band and social studies. I had Miss Lee, Miss Glover, and Miss Campbell. And all of them wrote letters. My brother also had them as teachers, and this is absurd. I'm sorry, but they need to be fired. You're a teacher of a school. You have the attitude to show your students that I'm here to teach you, and this is all. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be friends with your adults. I'm a teacher. I'm here just to help you and go on with your lives to be successful. My brother is the best thing I've ever had. He is my hero. I support him with everything, and for this is devastating to me. I've never been so hurt in my life to hear this. My parents are going through a stressful time. My mother has breast cancer. My dad has MS. My brother was molested. I know you guys know what you're doing, but this needs to stop. I'm definitely scared to come back this year, even though I believe I'm a strong person, but this is scary. My childhood was terrible living with my brother. I thought brother and sister are supposed to be close and supposed to have this tight friendship. I never had a brother. Mr. Erickson destroyed my brother. And it breaks my heart to see my brother go through this. It kills me. And I have people, all of these people in here support us, but you guys need to do something. This is scary for me to come back here and have to go to the principal with all my problems. I should not have to do that. I want to be homeschooled because this situation has gone into extremely scary suicidal thoughts. My garage was burnt down in the middle of the night. I could have still been sleeping and not heard a thing. I'm glad my dad heard it. We could have died. This needs to stop. I'm 16 years old, going through this, and now I finally have a brother. Because now all he does is come to me for help, and I thank God every day for that, because my brother is the most important thing ever to me. You guys need to do something about these teachers. I know Mr. Erickson is prison, and that's where he will stay for the rest of his life. He deserves it. You do not treat a child like that at all. For these teachers to write letters saying my brother was not damaged, they need to know the whole story. You do not come up with a whole different story for some situation like this. Like I said, this is absurd. My brother needs all the help he can get now. And like I said, he's the most important thing to me. How can you look at me right now and think, we're not going to do anything? You have to do something about these teachers. I know they're just letters, but they wrote some mean, nasty stuff in there that does not need to come out in this world. My brother is damaged. You can't say that about someone like that. I'm sorry. Mr. Egan needs to come off this board. Yes, I know you can support a friend, but not for a situation like this. This is child molestation. I'm sorry, and I keep apologizing because this is reality, and I know things happen like this. But my family has been through enough. I can't see anything else happen to us again.
In defense of the group, we didn't start this group to turn it into a vigilante group. There's a couple of people that are on there that are just so atrocious, and hint, hint, he's gonna take the school district down. Well, we all know, most of us know what his background is, so it's no problem. But our administrator of this site has had a sick daughter. She's now the daughter's doing fine, but now she's into her own classroom situation where she's taking classes. So So it's been hard to filter these people. We were looking for support. We weren't looking for the negativity. I, even at the beginning of this, vented my own things that I went through with this school district. Then I realized this is not about me, it's about the I can't say the name, Jenseski. And it's about our community. You know, we're not trying to tear this apart. Those people who are saying the nasty things, those people who are calling names and saying the crappy things that they've been saying on there, we put them in their place, we've quieted them down, we shut them right up, told them if they got a problem, go somewhere else. We've done what we could do to keep it clean. But when it comes to you, Mr. Piglowski, and I have ultimate respect for you coming up here and saying what you did, and as well as the other gentleman, but until you have a child, and you don't have any children yet, the other gentleman does, but until you have a child that has gone through this, or you have a friend whose child has gone through this, and you see somebody that's in a position that these teachers are in, or as Mr. Egan is in, your heart breaks. I don't have kids in the school system anymore. I was proud of the school system, always have been, but my kids will never come back here again. You know, I have one daughter here, the other three will never come back here, and that's really sad. I'd love to go back to my old high school. I'm not from here, never will be, I guess, but in other words, we need to bring this all together. What they say, if they come to a decision tonight, we don't have to accept, but we have to be calm. We have to be thoughtful of what they're going through, because I sure the hell would want to be in their position. Sorry for the language. I appreciate everything that everyone, even you, Mr. Egan, because I wouldn't have the balls to sit up there like you are right now. But I say to you as a community, and you know I have teachers here that are my friends, and you know me, and you know the complaining that I've done, or you know the good that I've done. I want to see this community together. I want to retire here. I want my grandsons to go to school here, and I do have one starting this year. Yes, I'm old, but I've seen a heck of a lot more than a lot of you have, and this is one of the most atrocious, disgusting things that I think that a teacher can do to a whole community, not just to Cody, but to every one of us to sit here, as long as we are, having to fight over, were they right, were they wrong? Well, it is our opinion, and it is an ethical opinion, it's a moral opinion that these teachers did a really stupid thing by even saying they were affiliated with the school. I don't think I would have had so much of a problem, but I still don't respect them if they did it the other way. But they affiliated themselves with the school, which shows a representation of the school. They need to be replaced. I don't know what the answer is for that, but when you say retrain them, train them about child molestation. Well, I know Sandy Lee, Kathleen, Sally Campbell, Harriet Coe, which isn't there, those two aren't there anymore. They all saw Babylonian play. They all know what child molestation is. They know, and they should know, every teacher should know, and if they don't, that's our board's call, what to expect out of a child molester or a groomer, which Mr. Erickson groomed everybody in the community, his church, his family, his co-workers, his children, and his classroom. And that's what we have to look at. Open your eyes, you see something, you report it. And I don't give a crap if you're afraid to stand up here and say anything or not, because you teachers are more protected than I am standing up here. I do own a business in this community, and I don't give a crap. I really don't care. I'm here standing up because I want to see this district succeed, not go down the tubes. So what they say, we'll go from there. But the fighting has got to stop.
Hello, my name is Christina Pfeiffer, and I am from West Branch. As you know from the last board meeting, I have no children, but I was a victim, and I am currently a survivor of abuse. And I want to tell you a little story, quick and short, about the worst day of my life that involved a teacher, a counselor, and a principal of a school. They were showing in class about the signs of physical abuse. And up to that point, I had hid all of my feelings inside. I acted up just like Cody was. I didn't let nobody know how I felt until this movie. And I broke down in tears and sobbed in my class. My teacher picks me up, takes me to the counselor's office, and has me talk to this principal and this counselor. And I'm sorry to say, but they broke my trust, because this counselor listened to what I had to say and called my mother and told my mother exactly what I said, that she was abusing me, that she beat me every day, and then made me talk to this woman on the phone in tears while I listened to my mother tell me, "Why are you telling lies about me? Why did you tell these people this when you know it's not true?" I got off the phone with my mom because she said she'll be on the way. I got off the phone with my mother, and all I could do was curl up into the counselor's office and bawl, because I knew what was going to happen to me when my mom got there. The principal come in and asked me if I was okay, and the counselor asked me if I was okay, and I said no, because you just ruined my life. Because when I got home that night, I almost died, because my mom beat me so severely and took a butcher knife to me. I don't know what saved my life that night. I think it was divine intervention. But teachers like this, who you are supposed to trust with your life, not just your education, should not be in the schools if you can't trust them. I wanted to trust this teacher, and look what happened to me. I go home and get almost beat to death and killed because somebody decided that what I said apparently wasn't true and decided to take my mother's side. So no, I don't think these teachers should be in these schools. Not because of their freedom of speech, not because they're good teachers. I think they need to be removed because they're untrustworthy, and maybe someday they could get a student killed. With these teachers gone, this district can go back to the way it was. To the way it was 30 years ago. Where there, yes, in every school district there are people who are bad, like Erickson. But there are so many good people too. I personally, in high school, fell in love with the teachers there because they were able to allow you to tell exactly what was wrong. I got to tell people what happened between me and my mother and between me and my father, because I was a victim of sexual molestation myself. I was able to go to these teachers, and they were able to help me get the counseling and the therapy that I needed. But I feel that these teachers that were there that wrote letters would not do that for people. Because if they can sit here and state that it happened one time, or that it was not his fault, it was a mistake. Well, I'm sorry, but I say that's BS. Because this was not a mistake. This was something that he done, and I don't think that these teachers have any right to stay in their position, but if it is your choice to keep them there, I can say that the students should not trust them. I personally would tell these students, don't talk to them about anything, nothing important, because one day it's just going to come back to you and bite you in the ass. Thank you.
My name is Stephen Heyer. I'm 20 years old. I'm a plasma center technician at Violet The reason I said that is because me saying where I work does not represent them as a whole. But the opinions I'm going to address represent myself. Also, for the point that if I do not have a child, I do not understand. You're right, I do not understand what's going through the parent's mind, the child's mind. But I can tell you this, that you do not know what was going through the teacher's mind when their friend was going through a loss of her husband to a serious crime, and no one condones that. Not one person condones that, and that, you know, it's the same aspect of that. We do not know until we live in their shoes. I've written letters to every single board member, and I would like to personally thank Mr. Money and Mr. Egan for replying to me. They were the only ones who did, and I really thank you for your time. My current concern with the community focused primarily on the actions of the emotionally driven group Support the Janseskis. I am ashamed of the slander, harassment, and overall message the group has given to our community. To see that they say they are worried about the ethics and morals of the children as they post mockery photos that mentally degrade the people who have devoted most of their lives to the community and education of the children that they do want to protect makes me wonder where the problem in the community really lies. It is upsetting to see how they focus solely on the emotional state of one, the victim in this case, and do not see that they are mentally hurting others by repetitively harassing, mocking those who solely just use their freedoms and their rights. They work for those rights every single day as Americans, and they should not be tarnished for that. One may disagree with their actions, and that is fine, because one is entitled to their beliefs as the one other next to them is as well. As long as one does not harm or put another in danger while they express their beliefs and freedoms, then there is only conflict of opinion. Nothing more, no legalities, and no unnecessary action. I've had a few of these teachers myself. I've had Mrs. Erickson, and I can tell you personally that she is so driven for the focus of the students. The time she puts into the theater and the time she put in for me to pass my English class my sophomore year was outstanding. That may be blinded to some people, and I can understand that, but to victimize them and to post mockery photos is just unbelievable to me. Also, for the community.
I'm sorry. I saw.
Okay. For the community to say that hopefully others will come out, it is my understanding that one who is molested is completely embarrassed of the whole situation, and it's very hard for them to come out about it. If they truly believe that they're going to come out now, it's completely ridiculous to me. They're going to come out and think that, you know, hundreds of people are going to gather and they're going to know their whole story. That's not how it's going to work. I'm sorry. I don't understand that. I'm having a hard time up here just thinking about it. 14 is the number of people that confirmed that they would be here with me today. However, every one of them backed out because they said that they were in fear of their reputation being tarnished just because they voiced a different opinion. And the poll that Austin read says that there are people out there who think differently than you. And you should be aware of that. I'd like to thank Mr. Egan for the professionalism he has given during this entire time. You may laugh at that, but that just shows for the professionalism you guys provided. Thank you.
Why are you not the support group?
Sorry, I was not at the last meeting, if we want to get on a personal level, because I was in the hospital. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Do you have any more comments?
No, yes I do.
Okay.
You shouldn't be on the support group then.
I'm not on the support group, thank you.
Then you're stalking.
He has a right to support his
He does, but he doesn't need to be on the support group if he's not in support.
My name's Tyson Newbecker, and I'm scared to death of public speaking.
Good luck.
I had these teachers at Rose City, most of them, that wrote the letters. Two of them, they're both retired now. If I seen them outside of school, I would go up and give them a hug. I'd almost go to the point of saying I love them almost, but they betrayed me. I guess I had more of a question than a statement. The young gentleman and the guy back there mentioned that they were letters of support to the family, correct? Why were they sent and addressed to the judge and not the family?
Yeah, you hear it? Yeah.
That's it.
I'm from Lupton, and I have a 10-year-old that attends Rose City Middle School. And I spoke with the board last time at the last meeting, and I wanted to make something clear here. Everybody keeps throwing around freedom of speech. Well, let me assure you, and sir, the one that said he was a Marine, was that you, sir? You should know more than any of us that speech is not free to anyone. It costs somebody, somewhere, something. I assure you of that. Freedom of speech in this case, the teachers had a right to say what they said. I agree with that. I've said things I'm sure most of you would disagree with in my lifetime. But the thing is it didn't cost them anything. It's costing this family something. It's costing my 10-year-old something. It cost her a lot of her innocence because I've had to sit down in the last month and explain to her what sex is and what sexual abuse is.
That's your job.
Yeah, you're right, it is, but not at 10, sir. Not at 10. At 10 years old, I should not be explaining to my child that her teachers might want to touch her private parts. I'm sorry, at 10, that's not something I should have to talk to her about. I should be starting to talk to her about it, but I shouldn't have had to explain everything to her at her age. She's been through this. And Mr. Egan, last time we were told, and this is word for word what we were told, he is doing his job. His job is to take notes. He sat there writing the whole time I was talking, and I stood here for about 5 minutes. You know what he wrote? I have a child that's molested. You know what else he wrote? That he could save the district $20,000 by stepping down. If you cared about our district, you would just step down and not make us spend that kind of money. The other thing I want to say is about our support group. I'm new here. I don't know any of you. I don't know any of these teachers. I've had one dealing with one of these teachers, and that was Mrs. Glover. And I assure you, if she's the best of our best, we got serious problems. Because she was not the best of the best. My child was getting E's in spelling. We didn't hear from her. I didn't get a note from her. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get an email. Nothing. I went to the school to talk to her. I requested that because I do have a child that's special needs, she needs to be supervised. And in 4th grade, I think I have the right to expect her teacher if I need to sign a piece of paper that says how many assignments she sent home with her. And for me to sign her agenda back that I received them. She would not do this. So she's the best of the best. Our whole district is screwed, in my opinion. And if it makes it better, I stand here as a $7,000 bill to you people. My child will not attend this school. And my decision was made at this meeting today. And the reason why it was decided is because the last meeting, most of you acted like human beings and spoke up and said you wouldn't. You wouldn't allow your kid in that class. You'd have a problem with sending your kid to that class. But today, you're gonna stand behind your lawyers. Well, you know what? My kid is not up for debate here. Her safety, her sexual being is not up for debate here. And as far as the people that are afraid to speak out, I don't see any one of them, and nor have I heard of any one of their garages being burnt down. Not one time have I heard about anything. Lose business? Well, yeah, I have a right to spend my money where I want to. And if you support child molestation, and I'm sorry, these teachers, you're gonna stand here and say they supported the family? Nowhere in their letters did it say anything about the family. It was all about Erickson. Not one time did they mention the family, his family, that you all want to profess that they were defending the family. Well, you know what? I've been in this situation before. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, her brother is in prison for raping a couple little girls. And you know what? I do stand behind her. I know her. I know she's not like that. But I surely didn't sit in court with her family. Thank you.
Number one, to address the gentleman asked why the letters were sent to the judge. When I wrote the letters for my neighbor, it was requested that they were sent to the judge. Number two, I volunteered twice to die for this country. I am a member of Veterans Vet of Ogama County. I work with some of the new veterans coming back. In fact, one works on my farm. I know what freedom costs. I've seen it. And some of the things I've seen, you can't imagine.
My name's Amy Clark.